Well, hey guys, Jonathan Doyle with you once again. Welcome aboard to the Daily Podcast. New listeners, old friends, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by. Let me bring you a little bit of encouragement for the day. Let me bring myself a little bit of encouragement for the day. Go ahead. Please make sure you've subscribed. Hit those subscribe buttons and go check out the links below. There's the full podcast version, and you can also book me for private coaching, business coaching. You can book me for speaking, conference events. Go check out those links. Today, we are doing Day 3 of the David Goggins trilogy. So go back a couple of days if you want to understand my obsession with David Goggins, also known as the hardest man alive. I think he's got some great messages for us. He's a guy that's walked the talk. You know, what is it? There are many who talk and few who do. He's definitely one of the guys that has been doing the doing for a very long time. So I get really encouraged by him, and I think all of us just constantly need encouragement, mentors, people who are trying to forge a path. I think that's probably why you watch, right? You're hoping that I'm out there trying to develop myself, and hopefully I've got something to offer you guys. So let's jump into today's number 3 quote from David Goggins. Let's do it. The only thing worse than being average is settling for it. Well, that is good. The only thing worse than being average is settling for it. All of us have this utterly remarkable human potential. Every single one of us is born with the capacity to have, be, do, and contribute remarkable things in this life. I often say to audiences that, imagine how God looks at us, right? Do you think God looks at you and kind of goes, my hope for you, my child, is that you spend your life being amazingly average. And one of the ways you can prove that we're not meant to be average is think if you're a parent. Did you ever look at your child growing up and say, wow, I love this kid. I really hope they grow up totally average. No parent says that. We have this incredible hope and passion for our kids that they'll develop, that they'll contribute, that they'll live a full life realizing their abilities. I think that's exactly how God looks at us. So I'm going to start by saying that average is not okay. I'm not telling you that you have to be the absolute world best at any particular thing. It's great if that's what's on your heart, but the worst thing about average is the risk that we might settle for it. I say in the podcast version, which is below here, I once heard this preacher talk about a farm, a big property near where we lived, and I'd actually driven past it myself, and the name of this property was This'll Do. Now, I think they chose that name like, this is pretty nice, this'll do, but the preacher went on to say, a lot of us live our life that way, right? This'll do. This is as far as we go. We've got to this point in a relationship, we've got to this point in our careers, we've got to this point in our parenting, we've got to this point in our friendship, and now this'll do. And we just stop. We settle for average. And the real danger in life, friends, is not being average, it's settling for average. It's losing that internal spark, that drive, that desire that, has really been central to life, right? That's kind of moved us forward. So are you settling? Have you got to a point in your life where you've begun to really just settle? Because this video is about encouraging you out of that. You weren't born for average. Now, I'm not telling you, I'm not God. I don't know exactly why you've been put here, other than I know that your job is to take your remarkable capacities and abilities and use them to create something magnificent with your life in the service of others. If you do that, in whatever way you're particularly called, you're going to have a fantastic life. What's not going to work is if you settle for average. If you're like, well, this is life, this is what it looks like, it's never going to change. Friends, while there is breath, there is life. So you need to keep going. It is possible for you to keep going, to not settle for average. All right? When you read Goggins' books, which I've read his books twice and done the audio versions twice, he just has this obsession with not really beating anyone else, but just in extracting every last bit of his potential out of himself. So I believe that's what you've been created for. I believe that's what I've been created for. As regular listeners know, the number of mornings that I get up, it's 4 a.m., it's cold, you just want to stay in bed. I'm just like, keep going, keep trying to improve, keep trying to get a little bit better. I share in the podcast, I think I shared about this one. I was talking to a friend at dinner recently and they're like, how's your training going, all the stuff you do? I said, yeah, look, it's full on. I said, I get tired. I said, I wonder as I get older what that's going to mean. And they said to me, well, you're going to have to slow down. You're going to have to stop. When are you going to know? When are you going to do that? And I thought about it. I'm kind of like, well, it's like that old saying, when they drag it from my cold, dead hands, like I'll quit when I just can't do it, when I just cannot take another step. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trying to improve. And I'm going to try and improve tomorrow. And I'm going to try and improve next Tuesday. And I'm going to try and improve a month from now. And I've just taken small steps. And I want to invite you on that journey of just moderate, daily, constant improvement. It can change your life over time. It may feel glacial, but think of the power that glaciers have. All right? Glacier might not seem to be moving that fast, but it's very powerful once it gets going, right? All right, do me a favor. Make sure you have subscribed. Book me for coaching, speaking. It is all under there. But for now, get out there. Do not settle for average, my friend. You were not born for average. Average is not your destiny. Average is not your future. My name's Jonathan Doyle. This has been the Daily Message. You and I are going to talk again tomorrow.